like this.
I'm about to head to a job interview at Home Depot, which is something I joked about, but not joking about how wonderful it would be to punch in, punch out, and that would be the end of the day. And it has come to that time where I just need to do this. I need that extra money. This isn't about the other stuff, but I do need to do it. I'm running a little behind, which I don't really like, but it should be pretty good. It is a fascinating thing to be job hunting. When I started this 3 weeks ago, wow, is it difficult because you just start lowering your standards because the jobs are so slim or people don't respond. It's a very interesting and humbling thing. Humbling. Massive new lesson on that. So I came back and I did some errands and stuff, some computer stuff. And by the way, I did get the job at Home Depot. So I kind of figured I would. I'm very capable. I have a lot of history with Home Depot, with labor, both technical, so on. So I'm doing a pro associate, very entry level job. The pay compared to what I'm used to is terrible, but it is the marketplace. And it's part-time, so I can continue working on other things. I can continue building my business. But because I'm stuck in this situation, that's just how things go. And, having a certain amount of, having a detrimental impact on your life that completely uproots everything from like an outside thing, like the job market, the situation with past recent business things, all of that affects you. And that's the way life goes. Sometimes you just lose. But if you're confident and you go about it like I'm going about it, you just build it back. Just get it back. If you got it once, you can get it again. And that's okay. It's okay to not have everything run exactly how you want it. I've talked about this before when I was preaching more masculinity, which is confidence isn't that you know everything's going to be okay. Confidence, in my opinion, the way I like to put it, is confidence is knowing you will be okay when everything doesn't go okay, when it doesn't go well, when it breaks down. You know you'll be okay. That's the difference. And to me, that's how I feel. I'm okay no matter what happens. Not that everything will be just, it'll work out, all that stuff. No, sometimes it doesn't work out, but I'll be all right. And as far as what I'm doing online, that's a whole nother topic. I'm talking about what am I going to do right now? I said if I needed to get a job, I get a job because I need that extra 4K, whatever it is a month. So what? So that's the idea here. I'm going to eat this food and then going to get back to building and working on the business. I'm going to be kind of doing some more research. Basically what I'm thinking right now is if I'm going to go back to working with people, I kind of want to change it. It's going to be branding because that's what I'm so good at. It's what I know best. It's what I help people without the most. But I do want to change it a little bit. And I have an idea. It's like mixing all of these things into one very clear thing. It's personal branding, more so than branding, like business branding. But I'll talk about that later. That's kind of where I'm at. By the way, if you're not watching Prepper Princess, on ways to pinch pennies and save money and stuff like that, you should. She's very good at making you realize there's other ways to do things. Keep your head in the game about how to, how to see the world. How she does like something like all of her bills are like $200 a month or something crazy. She's very good. And I've been back on watching her again, so I resubscribed. I think she's hilarious. And yeah, that's where my head's at. I'm like, this whole, recession that we're in, but also depression that we're going into, is getting more and more real the more it comes closer to it. And I really, really believe it's gonna be really bad. The job market, the money out there is gonna be very crazy. I mean, inflation on eggs and food, that is an indicator of how things are gonna go. And might as well get your crap together. Get your insights and how you think around money pretty tight. And that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, okay, well, if I'm gonna charge somebody $1,000 for something, I better damn well make sure that I get twice that back or more. That's kind of what I'm picturing, because I'm like really trying to be more empathetic. Like, what's everybody's dollar doing? What is the best way to spend that dollar? I'm on my daily walk here, and I try to make sure it's 10,000 steps. I try to every day if I can, even if it's like cold, like today it's 27 degrees, feels like 10 degrees, I guess. Forgot my hat, but I'm cold as hell and I'm still doing it. I worked out, and I didn't even get to work out before everything, right? So I decided, I'm going to do this. I have to do it at some point, no matter what. And that's the key. You gotta, the way I look at it is like, I make a decision. I think about something. I say, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make this part of my life. I'm gonna do this change. And then I do it. And I try to ignore my emotions at that point. It's a decision. It's a matter of following through on what I say I'm gonna do. Being the kind of man who does what he says is the kind of person I want to be. And I practice that all day, every day. I say to myself, and that's the thing, a lot of people think that has to do with saying it to other people, but I say it to myself. If I tell myself I'm going to work out today, I'm going to work out. Or if I say I'm going to try to walk 10,000 steps every day, then I'm going to walk 10,000 steps every single day. Or at least do my best, right? So I'll probably get about 9,000, 8,000 today. And that's not bad. I'd rather fail at something by doing it than not do it and fail by not doing it. Anyways, I'm on the walk. It's great. I'm listening to just some YouTube, because that's kind of what I've been doing lately. Audiobooks, I'm kind of bored with a little bit now. And I'm getting bored with YouTube. Totally bored with music. Honestly, I just raw dog it about 20% of the time. That means like no music, no underwear, just kidding. But I just walk with my thoughts. And that is proving to be the most interesting ones, but it is boring. And that's kind of where I'm at. I just wanted to talk about how this is another part of my day every day. And it's because I said I'm going to do it. So I do it. All right. It's interesting. I've been on this walk and it's, I don't know. It's really cold. And I'm just like, nobody is out. Nobody is on this trail. I usually see a lot of people, like, I don't know, 15, 20, maybe more on a sunny day. And there's nobody out. And it made me think about the nature of people. And then I'm thinking about my money, and I'm thinking about the nature of business and how it solves problems. And your number one thing you can do is solve somebody's problem, and they will pay you for that. And then if you're charging people, but you're not solving their problem, then you're a scam artist. You're a phony. So it just made me think a lot about, like, what are people doing online? Sorry, I know you can't see my face, right? But it's fucking cold. What are most people doing in general with their business? How big of a problem, how much are you solving that problem? Or are you a scam artist? I know some scam artists. I know them personally. I'm friends with them. I've worked with them. And, you know, they're scum, I gotta say. I don't want to be a scam artist. So it made me think, well, what kind of problem do I want to solve? And I keep thinking about that. Like, what is the best problem to solve? How can I really find out? What is the biggest personal branding problem that somebody would pay me a ton for? Because there's a lot of problems I can solve in the branding: personal, business, small business, corporate, graphics, strategy. All of these things are absolutely loaded with problems. So I'm thinking, well, which ones do I want to solve? What are the biggest problems that people have? And then I'm thinking, what is the number one problem in my life? Because my brain switched. I'm like, okay, how can I solve problems and think better, right? I'm always trying to, like, be happier, think better, so on. So I started wondering, what's the number one problem that I have right now? And this was the other day I was thinking that. I was like, okay, well, what's that problem? And I started working towards solving that. And once I started making progress, it just felt like this dead spot in my heart, because it wasn't enough progress. I just felt lost. I'm just like, am I actually doing anything about this? Am I moving forward? Like, it's a financial thing, right? It's a business thing. I'm like, okay, I need to make more money. I need to get that extra money. I need to get out of the hole. I need to do more than normal. So I'm like, well, I got to do something about this. How do I make money? Not even a lot of money, just money. And I just focused all my mind on that. I have other problems in life, and they eat up my brain, taking space away from solving that problem. So I thought, you know what? This is great practice for problem solving for my business, for anybody. If I can't solve my own problem and not be good at it, like get that problem solving fitness in, how the hell am I going to do that for other people? Or at least do it as well as I want to. Because I want to be my own hero. I want to solve those problems for myself and show it. So, good thing, I have a lot of problems, and you probably do too. So, great, start solving those. Start being the kind of person that, you know, like I said earlier, is a man of their word. And then also, that thing that you promise yourself to do is working to solve whatever it is you're trying to solve. And then tick that box, be like, yep, I'm good at that. I'm good at frigging finding solutions, working at something, having faith in something, having faith in yourself and the world and the way the world works, and more. And I believe clarity will come through. I believe you will get that magic, for lack of a better term, support from all over. That's where affirmations and crap like that, I believe, come into play as being real and so on. Man, carrying a camera can get pretty heavy. But that's kind of what I'm thinking on this half of the walk. So it's a bunch of things, but I figured I'd share it because these are the things that I picture myself talking to this camera in front of 100 people. And if I'm talking about personal development like I normally do, it feels embarrassing. When I talk about something that I'm truly thinking it just doesn't feel cringe at all. It just feels like, yeah, this is what I think about. This is what I talk about in general. And I've just got to put this down real quick. I'm thinking to myself, like, what am I gonna... And I'm thinking to myself, well, I just dropped the camera because this shitty Joby tripod, which I tried to preach about to a bunch of people. I was telling Peter McKinnon, he uses the Mantis pod, and Peter Lindgren at one point. I'm like, the Joby's still better because you can grab it up. But they were like, no. Peter's like, no, I don't care if I can't get that shot. I'll just move the camera and get any shot. And I was like, nah, dude. Like, this is better. You can get more shots with this thing. Maybe I'll break the bank and sell something else and get the Mantis pod. I think I will, because I keep thinking about ways to tuck it in. I use his this thing, the Peter McKinnon side satchel, right? I use that to carry everything around, and it works really well. But I could probably, here, I'll just show you. There's this like quick satch here, which I'm sure you know. I could probably fit the Mantis pod right here. But right now I'm putting the Joby underneath, like I'm strapping it to the bottom. But the Mantis pod right there, I think that could work really well. So that's what I'm thinking. I could probably pick that up because I actually dropped this camera earlier, and and there's a wobble because the LCD screen that I'm looking at is kind of messed up. It's a little broken, and that's because of the Joby, of course. So, you know, sometimes you're wrong. I am, that is. That maybe maybe the Mantis pod was better. I actually bought it and I weighed the two out, and I was like, here's the decision list, and I still chose the Joby, but I'm realizing that maybe that's just not a good idea. Oh, also, that Mantis pod head is super strong. That grip on that thing is amazing. Like, not the mount, but the tightening part of it. Like, I can use this Joby and crank it and kind of still move the camera if I want. But yeah, anyways, enough about that. I just want to wrap this section up with, if you saw, somebody did walk by, and of course they're elderly, because elderly people actually go outside, right? Because they're old school. Anybody like that, they still live their life. Me, who's determined, who's trying to go against the grain of comfort all the time, yeah, that's why I'm out. Not because I'm like, oh yeah, let's go for a walk, it's nice out. I'm like in joggers, right? Some stupid ass sneakers that I go to the gym with. I bought these Under Armour sneakers. I got these when I was running in New York because you can track your steps inside them. But I haven't used them for that reason in a while. But yeah, anyways, that's all I got for this chunk. So I just wasted, I don't know, maybe about 45 minutes researching that Mantis pod. And I figured out, I didn't like how the newer one, the version 2, was plastic. I wanted the Pro, which I think is just better. But then I was looking at it and I was like, this shit's expensive, and like, I'm not making more money right now. Like, that's the whole theme. Like, this is stupid to waste money on, so on. And I thought about, I love the Joby GorillaPod head, like how you can control it a lot. And I'm like, if I can only combine the two, turns out you can get the version 2, which is plastic, which at first I was like, nah, but I wanted it to be lighter. That's one of the key things, light. So, so I looked at it, and you can put the Joby head on the version 2, and it's light. So you kind of get best of both worlds. It's just not metal, but for weight, that's totally fine with me. For $40, so I'll throw away probably the Joby thing. I don't know, but yeah. So what I'm thinking is I'll get the version 2 stand and put the Joby 3K head on it for this camera. And I think that should be a super sweet setup. So then I have like super compact, everything, it's fine. Like I think it's really important to test sacrifices that you'll do in life. And I'm thinking that's like, I have it open here still. So if we look here, it's $40. And that head there, I could just put the Joby head on that. I think that would be pretty sweet. And that would be pretty cool for me. And then the only thing is I think the height's always like this, which is fine. But, having a tiny mini setup that's very portable, and I don't have to deal with instability of the Joby, which sucks, but the head's so good. Look. So the thing with this head is it's just one knob. The PGY Tech ones are a little complicated in my opinion. So this is good. I can go sideways and turn it too. And then and it's nice and beefy too, of a lever. So I can grab it, bam. And this fits my Peak Design Arca Swiss, whatever. Now it doesn't have necessarily a really great like slide prevention, but this does work. That just prevents it from sliding off. Now this is the height of the Joby. That's the thing that this might have over that, and I don't have to buy anything or do anything. The PGY Tech might be more around this height, which is fine, but upward angles aren't always the best, right? So, but then again, if I'm messing with it, that's the whole thing, is like it's slowly kind of creeping and bending, and it's weird. So that's why I like the idea of something stable. So I'm selling this table right here. It was like $180, but I kind of messed with it and kind of made it really unvaluable. I have like scratches in it. It's bent. Yeah, it's just kind of not in the normal shape I bought it in. But somebody just offered me $20. I countered with 30. That would pretty much cover it. So we'll see what he says, and that's what I'll do. So I told myself that I would still continue to work out in the morning before my stuff. Like, I go to the Chamber of Commerce this morning, and I'm not used to working out then having to be somewhere at a certain time. I usually kind of just go about whenever I feel like it, and I just do it. So I hopefully finish my workout at a reasonable hour in the morning. And now I just am starting to get busy with, certain chores. Like, I got to go on LinkedIn, I got to go to the Chamber of Commerce, I got to do certain things by certain times, certain emails need to be done by noon, stuff like that. But all of that's normal. It's the fact that rushing to the gym sucks, and then the workout sucks if you don't have enough time to like really just enjoy it. So I'm here now at the gym, and I think it's arm day, which is fine. Usually it's going to be fast, so I might gain extra time, but that's the day today so far. So I went to 7-Eleven just now to grab a Red Bull, and I'm walking to the counter, passed by the candy aisle, which is a dangerous thing. And I found that they carry weird candy. Butterscotch Soup Snicker and Crunchy Waffle Hershey's. Both of them only came in king size, which is annoying. I hate king size, I think. I always get very frustrated. Either it's too much food, like this, or it's the wrong ratio. I think king size candy is just terrible. I'd never like it. Like, you can get a king size peanut M&M, and that's good because it's more of those. That's good, but usually you don't want that much, first of all. Then second, if it was like king size Snickers, they're huge. It's like way too much per bite. Or like it's like a Big Cat versus Kit Kat. Like, it doesn't work the same. So king size to me always bothers me. And of course, this is 340 calories. I'm gonna have a really hard time opening this and not finishing it within the next 4 hours. But if it was a regular one, I would eat it, I would be fine. 260 calories. I would be good, but I am going to struggle. So I'm gonna taste this. I'm gonna do one little bite, and I'll tell you what I think of it. And I have a major sweet tooth, so this is not weird for me to be eating candy at nearly 10 a.m. So, and it's funny because I asked the woman, I was like, do you always have weird candy? The cashier, and she's like, yeah, there's always strange stuff. I always thought Walmart had the weirdest candy. Like, they have like weird ones like this, but not that much in the past year. So it would be cool to like just pay attention to 7-Eleven and what they carry. If they carry new stuff, new styles, experimental stuff from brands like like whatever this garbage is. But yeah, this is definitely not going to be good. But we'll see with this. Let's see. It's good. She goes, this is really good with hot chocolate. And I think she would be very right. It kind of tastes like hot chocolate as is. I like it. Nothing really crazy. It's a very sweet Nestle Crunch kind of tasting. But, all right, well, I have to get some work done. So I've been thinking a lot about what I've been doing and all the changes I've been going through as far as my life, career, investments, all that stuff. And this change in like getting a job has really struck a really interesting chord in my thinking, in my well-being. Just the idea of going back to working a normal job, this part-time income, has actually got me really excited. I started getting really happy about the idea that there's some stability, some security. And I'm not normally one for that. I don't really care much for that. I've never really been like, I need security, I need stability, I need, something predictable. It's not how I usually operate. I'm very much like kind of, I guess you could say, go with the flow type of personality, spontaneous, let things go. So thinking a lot about that has really, made this shift where I started to see what have I been missing in all of the online things in my general career for the past 15 years. It really made me realize something that I didn't before, and I want to talk about this a lot. But when you have this concept of, say, doing what you're trying to do online and your online business, things like that, getting leads, getting traffic like that, it starts becoming, when it's just all you do, it just becomes this really scary thing. You're like not sure the next lead, next traffic, all that. It's on always working at it. When you have that stability, you start looking at it as like, oh, I have really been pushing in the wrong direction. I've really been doing something that isn't really aligned with me. It's like all of a sudden I think back to all the YouTube content that I've just made just recently. I'm like, why did I do that? Like, why did I rush through that? Why am I doing it this way? And it's because there's this grasp for money that I'm trying to do. And I've been doing this wait list. I've been building a wait list for my branding cohort, the personal branding. It helps you make more money with your brand. It helps you build your personal brand, become more of a person, become better looking, both physically, like what you wear, how you appear online, because it's both physically, like who you are as a person, but your personal brand and your personal brand's business, like what you stand for, like. And the reason I started pushing that is because that's what I've been doing. I've lived so much digitally for so long. That's what I'm really good at that. And that personal branding is we live in most of our world, most of our connections are done digitally. So that personal brand matters. It changes your whole life. Think about, actually, it is about half of your life is lived online. Not every second that you're online, but it exists there. And then somebody comes across you. You may be taking a dump, but somebody sees your Instagram post or YouTube video. It's literally like a whole nother version of yourself. So for me, personal branding is the most important thing you can do for yourself and your business. You gotta imagine, you go, say you're going to date, and I remember one of the apps, you like link your Instagram at the bottom, and it's like everything is integrated. You know, the girls want to see, are you trustworthy? Are you a creep? Like, do you have an online presence, or are you scary, like a serial killer with nothing out there? So that kind of stuff matters, and that's why I'm so on it. But when it was only thing I was thinking about, it's just never goes away. The idea of having the part-time job has alleviated the stress of forcing myself to do it. I am going to make videos when I feel like it and keep a consistent thing, kind of like how I work out. Like if I try to work out every single day, for example, but if I really don't feel like it, because I do it every day, I'm just not gonna. But if I was working like this, like I have for the past 15 years, be like, oh, well, I gotta email a producer, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, always looking for that money, it just never ends. And, you know, if that was the case for the gym, I'd have to go to the gym. And that's, you know, honestly, it's just really blinding of how to live. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm like realizing, I'm like, this is exciting. Like, fuck, I'm gonna hate the money. Like getting literally divided by 10 my income for my hour is nothing to sneeze at, and that's gonna get old fast. That's why it's not gonna be the full-time thing. It's gonna be part-time, and I want to teach that. I really want to show through example how to, say, make this online personal brand work for you on the side, so you don't have all the pitfalls that I've faced for the past 10 years. Well, 15 at this point, yeah, because they are rough. And I gotta say, it is a demonstrable force that can rip you apart and your relationships and your mind. I've broken my brain so many times, and it's because of that. And I want to make a dedicated video on this, but I'm excited to show you. I'm not going to talk about it. Like, I'm going to show about it. And that's what I'm excited for in the future. So I'm going to wrap up this super vlog because I got this idea when I was watching back my edit. And if you like this kind of video, if you did make it this far, please let me know. This is a total experiment, but I'm doing it for myself because I thought, you know what? This feels good. Just this idea of clumping a bunch of things throughout the week and random thoughts into one, kind of like the Bear Bond channel, but all in one master super vlog. But it's not like I'm doing a lot. It's just all kind of in one little chunk. Well, a long chunk at this point. It's like probably a half an hour, 40 minutes long so far. But I like this idea, and if I, going forward with the whole thinking of everything, this would alleviate a lot of the pressure to get it out, because I have another video, I have a sponsorship video, I gotta edit, blah, blah, blah. Like, if I could chill, I'd get some cooler B-roll, make it a little more nice stat, like I get excited, it feels good, and then have that develop and work for me in the future in other areas of my life, as well as just expressive and creative, which is in the end why I started this. But end of super vlog. Let me know how you guys like this. Cheers.